Okay, so man, is this a topical episode? As always, I'm Al, and I'm going to be talking about the Orville, Season 3, Episode 4, Gently Falling Rain. So if you haven't seen it yet, this will contain spoilers. I've changed a lot since introduction in Season 1, but the Krill are sort of still the enemy. I'm going to get to that a little bit later on. Now, I have had a few complaints about the Orville in the first 3 episodes, but man, is this one absolutely brilliant. There's just so many good things about this episode. The CGI, the world building, the sets, the mix of CGI and practical sets. It's everything that's missing from shows like Star Trek and Obi-Wan recently, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. But anyway, back to the Krill. Despite only 2 seasons, we've got quite a little bit of these guys, and like last week's episode in episode 1, this is following up from a plot thread from an older episode, and they're really going out of their way to do that this season, and I like it a lot. And the plot thread is, well, some people aren't happy about the Krill alliance with the Union on the Krill side. There's a group of purists, I'd guess you'd call them that, and they're very Krill first, let's put it that way. Read into it what you will. But I never thought I'd have to say this. It's a female alien Donald Trump, but it is a character that we're familiar with. It's Talia, who is the Krill that Mercer let go. But back on Earth, there's a Krill delegation going through the usual tourist stuff, taking in a musical, then having the Star Trek 6 dinner. And I really liked the Krill. They've been a really solid enemy. A lot of sci-fi shows struggle to come up with a good bad guy, but the Orville sort of had 2 for 1 with the Krill and the Kaelon 2 seasons back to back. I think the Krill are very interesting. The fact that they developed science and kept a pretty strict religious faith is an interesting thing for me. And the alliance seems to be getting stronger, but it's sort of election season on Krill. And man, this show is hitting hard at you if you're an American. Yes, you. But there is also some light-hearted stuff with Bruce Boxleitner, aka Captain John Sheridan from Babylon 5, showing up as the Union President. And while all this is going on, the crew are relaxing with a pub crawl through history. And I didn't know Americans done that, if I was being honest. But anyway, Kiali's been promoted to Lieutenant Commander, and the Orville's assigned to be the first Union ship to go to the Krill homeworld under the flag of peace, along with all the brass, including some admirals and the President. So yeah man, this show's getting pretty political and I like it. The Boys is doing it a little bit better at the moment, and for 3 out of 4 weeks we're getting an old thread from a previous episode brought back up. And I'll keep saying it because they keep doing it. They're really doing their own thing and doing some world building this season, and it's a lot more of the rest of the sci-fi shows that we've had recently. Again, going back to the Star Trek shows and Kenobi. So I thought that this episode was going to be a Star Trek 6, and I thought it was going to go in the direction of, well, what if that movie went well, and then when they get to Krill, everything goes wrong. The leader loses the election and gets arrested along with the landing party in the Krill leader loses the election and gets arrested along with the rest of the landing party, and the ship's attacked. And while this is thrilling, why didn't they just jump out of there straight away? I did find that was a little bit annoying. Anyway, Mercer meets Talia and she sort of says, well, you know, you released me, so all this has happened to me coming to power is because of you. And now you're going to get executed, so tough luck, pal. But you can tell that as he saved her, she does feel a little bit guilty. And then of course you find out that he got her pregnant and they have a half human, half Krill child. So basically he's got a Spock but a daughter. So is that a Michael? But no, because it's more of a Spock when you think about it. But anyway, being the fact that she's a purist and having a half human kid is a bit of an issue and an interesting development for where stories can go. And another good twist after last week as well, with the Kelly aliens showing up. This episode didn't feel too heavy and was better paced out than the first 4 that we've seen so far. We also see all the crew working together, you know, as a crew, which is pretty good. But yeah, with the Directive 21 thing, I know I've sort of missed that out. But yeah, it did work and it made sense. I'm glad they didn't get lazy and show us it beforehand, and you know, you sort of forgot about it after they mentioned it for the second time. But this episode, man, you get a really, really good sense of the Krill and everything with their world works. This is seriously amazing stuff. As I've said, whatever they're doing here, it's working when it comes to blending all these effects together. And man, do they have some fucked up views on abortion. Now, I'm putting this in the edit because it just happened in the news earlier on today. And if you're in America, you know what I'm going to talk about here. I'm not going to go into too much detail, don't worry. But man, yeah, is this scene ever more relevant? It couldn't have come out at a better or worse time, depending on the way that you want to look at it. But I just wanted to fit this in. So anyway, back to the episode. But if episode 4 is showing what's to come, then I'm excited. The show looks great, and the world, the battles, and the chases, and everything here worked. And it's showing you how to do an alien world in live action on a studio, which again, a lot of shows at the moment can't seem to master. The episode raised the bar, and while I don't expect every episode to have the scale in this new Hulu run, it did feel like it was the first one that fitted this longer format. Some of the first 3 stretched in parts and it wasn't perfect. It felt like the pace could have been resolved and the story could have been resolved a little bit quicker. But what an ending. The Union of Lost Allies is now having a 2-front war, which does make me wonder if they're maybe going to go out into the galaxy and look for new technologies or aliens to help them win these huge new conflicts, because it is called New Horizons. So I think that's something that could happen, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. A lot of the sort of classic Orville tropes are back here. The humour's there with Kelly, but I did want a little bit more of it. All in all, this was a really well done episode, and with all the rumours and things that I've been hearing about swirling around the Orville the last year or two since the season finished and we've been in the pandemic, this is exactly what I was expecting. This show was its own sort of mini movie. It helped build some of the existing characters that we have on the show, as well as cement the Krill as pretty solid villains. They're more than just one-dimensional bad guys. We've seen them going about their world, going about their lives, and it's not exactly what I expected. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do with these guys going forward and how it's going to affect the Union and the crew of the Orville. But as you can tell, I really loved this episode. It's my favourite of the season so far, but as always, this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below, or as always, you can follow me on Twitter. Please leave a like if you've made it this far and subscribe to the channel, it would mean so much. My name's Al, thanks for watching.